Why can't I find a job right now? It's because the jobs you're applying to don't even exist. I'm Kevin, and I've applied to 2,200 jobs over the last 2 years, and I still don't have one, despite me having 5 degrees, multiple certifications, and military experience. Not only that, but spending the bulk of my time after my MBA program advising corporate strategy to senior level managers at Dow 30 and Fortune 50 companies. Of those 2,200 applications that I've submitted, only 13 of those have led to phone screeners, which turned into 6 interviews, 2 of which were scams. 2, they lost funding for the position. One of them was a position I was never even qualified for in the first place. I'd applied to it on accident, but interviews are hard to come by. So I took it and I studied. I made it to the 3rd round before they realized that that wasn't the job that I do. And then the last one, it's been 12 and a half weeks at this point, and they just completely ghosted me. I didn't even get a rejection letter. Have you seen that show on Netflix about Formula One, Drive to Survive? Well, now I'm living the real Drive to Survive. That's right. I'm using my MBA in data analytics to drive Uber. Great use, right? Absolutely not. I'm sure some of you listening right now have had to do the same. While I'm grateful it's there for me to make some income and I can provide for myself and for my kid, it's not exactly the career path that I had planned on my whole life or worked for my whole life. Since I started driving Uber, I've talked to a lot of people in the car about my job because whenever someone gets in the car, it always comes up, "Hey, is this what you do full time?" And I always have to tell them, "No, I've been looking for a job for 2 years and I can't find a job." And they ask what's going on, and I tell them about my education, and they say, "Why are you driving Uber? Like, you should have a job by now." And I say, "That's exactly right. I should have a job by now." And then when we talk about the hiring process and how bad the job market is right now, they inevitably tell me, "You should do a podcast on this," which is in line with what my friends and family tell me too. So here we are. I'm doing a podcast about it because this relates to so many people right now. It is impossible to find a job. And if you're listening to this, you found me because you don't have a job right now. But I digress. So here we are, both of us not employed, and we don't know why. The Department of Labor and Statistics recently released a number saying that they had overestimated jobs that were created in this past year by 818,000. I know it sounds like a lot, but that doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of what's really going on. Based on my research and analysis, at least 40% of all jobs posted online are fake. Why post fake jobs? That's the number one question that people ask me. What do the companies get out of it? Well, I've talked to people who are recruiters and who are HR representatives who have admitted to me personally in interviews that they have had to post fake jobs because they were directed to. And I've done research and I've read online about other people who have also posted fake jobs because they were told to. And in my research and in my analysis over the past year or so, after I found out that this was a real thing that's happening all the time, I found out that there's 10 reasons so far that I've uncovered as to why a company would want to post a job that was fake, that didn't exist, in order to benefit them. And I'm going to be going over those in the next few episodes. And another thing to note is that these companies that are posting these jobs that aren't real, it's not like they're Nigerian prince level scammers who are just trying to get money out of you. I mean, there's a handful of those around, but the vast majority of these companies that are posting these fake jobs, the real companies, big companies that you've heard of. If you probably have something of theirs in the room with you right now. Verizon, yeah, I'm calling them out. I'm not gonna dance around it here on this podcast. The whole idea behind this podcast and this YouTube channel. If you're not watching me on YouTube, come find the YouTube channel and subscribe and whatever, because I'll be putting out this information as much as I can. If you're watching me on YouTube, find me on, I think I'm going to be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Amazon. I'm going to try to be on all the different outlets, whatever I can get this onto, because this information needs to get out. But back to what I was saying, these aren't like Nigerian level print scammers, right? It's not like we're just trying to get your money. And yeah, I said there's a couple of those out there, but it's Verizon who posts jobs because it benefits them to post jobs that they never intend to hire anyone for. Petco does it too. And they come up with other names because they don't want to say we're posting fake jobs. They don't want to say this is fraudulent. We're defrauding the public at large. They don't want to be painted in that light. So they come up with these cutesy little terms like ghost jobs, evergreen jobs, unicorn jobs. There's a couple other ones, but if you do some research on it, if you want to Google it right now, if you want to grab your phone or whatever and look up ghost jobs, you will find stories after stories on it. And it's not getting any press out there. And so whenever I found out about this, I decided I have to do something about it. I have a master's degree in data analytics. I have tons of experience in research and analysis and digging deep and answering the unanswerable questions and solving problems and finding out the unfind outable. And my talents are going to waste while I'm sitting in my car driving Uber. I mean, I like talking to people. Everyone that's been in my car has been real cool, except for that one person. But everybody's been cool so far. And then I'm also doing handyman work too, right? But that's not what I went to college for. That's not what I'm trying to do. I have this analytical mind and I have all this training. And if I'm not doing it to do what I trained for, what I spent my life working for, which is to direct corporate strategy to answer the big questions, to answer the hard questions, to improve profitability, whatever, all that stuff. I'm not doing it. So I don't want it to go to waste because what I'm seeing during this job hunt is that it's impossible, that it's horrible, that people are suffering just like I am. I I'm 43 years old and I'm starting from scratch. When I got divorced, we sold the house and that gave me a good amount of money and I had great investments. I had a 401k, I had savings. It's all gone now. It's gone. That's why I'm driving Uber and that's why I'm doing TaskRabbit as a handyman is because I got to feed my kid. I got to keep a roof over my head. I got to have internet connection for hunting for jobs that I'm never going to get. Um, so this problem is huge and it needs to be dealt with. And if I have the skills to find out things and to disseminate this information to people like you who are watching this on YouTube or people like you who are listening to this in your cars or driving around or at the gym or whatever, if you're applying to jobs and you're not getting hired, it's because most of the jobs you're applying to are fake. My research says at least 40% are fake, and I can back that up all day. 70% is what I believe is the number of jobs that are fake, that are posted online. 70% of the jobs. I did the math on it. Out of the 2,200, roughly 2,181 as of today, out of the roughly 2,200 jobs to which I've applied, I've spent a total of 12 and a half solid days applying to jobs that never even existed in the first place. That's a huge amount. And that's what's happening to you too. So if you're feeling down right now because you can't get a job, if you're feeling like there's no hope, that like there's something wrong with you, that ain't it, bro. It's not you. That ain't you, sister. It's not you either. This job market, this job market is impossible. And I'm hoping to talk to some HR people, to talk to recruiters and resume writing professionals and whatever to see if I can find any sort of advantage that I can share with everybody. But at the very least, I want to share why you're not getting these jobs. I want people to be aware that companies are defrauding the public at large. They're wasting your time, they're wasting my time, they're wasting their own time having their HR and their recruiters and their third-party recruiters post these jobs on platforms. And companies like LinkedIn and Indeed, they're making a ton of money off of this. Sure, they don't care if it's a real job or not, as long as they're getting paid, right? I mean, that's some sort of ethical dilemma at the very least that we need to dive into, I believe, and someone needs to be held accountable for it. So one thing that happened this year, shortly after I found out about fake jobs and how pervasive they are in the job market, I wrote this cover letter. I'd never been on Reddit before. I went on there for some job hunting help to see if there was people on there that could help me because I heard the community's good for some of that stuff, right? So I go on there and I post this. I took a screenshot of a cover letter that I wrote for this company, and it kind of went viral. I'll talk about it in another podcast, but it kind of went viral, and it got the attention of a journalist from Business Insider. His name's Tim, really cool guy. So he got a hold of me and wanted to do an interview. We did an interview. He posted the article about my job hunt a few months back, and I got over 300 messages on LinkedIn within the next couple weeks, DMs. And gosh, I was thinking, like, is it going to be a recruiter? Is someone going to be like, hey, I see the value in you, Kevin, and I want you to come here and use your brain goo to make our company better? No, that's not what happened. Every single one of them was a story about somebody whose mom is going through the same thing, or their brother, or there's this one person wrote me and they said, look, my son's going through the same thing, just got his bachelor's degree 2 years ago, continued to live on his own for a year after he graduated. Then he had to move back home because he still didn't have a job after a year after having his bachelor's degree. And after living at home for another year, he had to go get his job back at Taco Bell or McDonald's or whatever it was, the job that he had in high school, because he couldn't find a job anywhere else. So now he's back living with his parents doing the job that he was doing in high school. And so it's 300 messages of just commiseration of people who are all in the same boat as me and you, who can't understand why they can't find a job. And if we're to believe the articles that are posted online, so many companies are saying, oh, we can't find people. And, nobody wants to work and we can't find qualified candidates. That's bogus. We're having a harder time finding the jobs than the jobs are having finding us. And if you don't believe me, you can go on LinkedIn if you have the premium access, and you can look at some of the jobs that are posted. And they used to have a really granular number. I think now it's like by milestone, but it used to say, this job has been posted for a week and they've received 3,200 applications or whatever, right? So you can go on there and you can look at that. Out of 3,200 applications, y'all couldn't find someone to hire? You expect us to believe that? No, we're not buying it. We're not buying it. So that's kind of the intro for this being the first podcast, for this being the first episode. The high notes, look, you're not doing anything wrong. It's the job market that's wrong, and we're here to fight against it. My biggest goal, and it's a little lofty, is I want to get in touch with people from Congress, representatives, senators. I want you to reach out to them also. We'll talk about that in a future episode. Write to your representatives and tell them that big companies, are defrauding the public at large by posting jobs that they have no intent to hire for. And it's unethical. It's just mean. It's hurting our country. It's hurting our economy. It's hurting families. And it needs to stop. That's my call to action. That's why I'm here. That's my mission. So if you found any useful information in this, please click. I don't know where it is. I'm new to this. There's a button somewhere. There's the bell that you got to ring, and the subscribe, whatever you feel like doing, whatever you do, whenever you find something on YouTube that you like, just do that. If you're listening on audio, then subscribe to me. I think you can get notifications for that for when I put out a new one. Right now, this is new. I'm doing maybe one a week. I want to get up to maybe 2 a week, but stay tuned. Listen up. If you're watching on YouTube, there's links in the description, I think, of my X/Twitter. Started a TikTok. I have no idea how to use it. I've never used TikTok, but apparently, like, this is going to be the platform for me to promote this a little bit. So stay tuned for my first ever TikTok. And then Reddit, that's the big one. If you're on Reddit, check out the subreddit. It's r/FightFakeJobs. You can join that. We have 1,050 members, I think, right now. That's where we post about companies who are doing the dirty deed, who are posting the jobs that we don't want to see posted, the jobs that don't exist. So go on there for more insight, more information. But yeah, thank you for your time and for listening. I hope you found value in this episode today. But as of right now, we're moving forward to episode 2, and I'll see you there.